Hello, everyone, and welcome back to PrettyRealPersona. I am your host, Ariana Reese. Today's episode is about the challenge of being emotionally available. So, raise your hand if sending a meme is your idea of being emotionally available instead of actually saying how you feel. Anyone? Because first off, that's not me. We can start there. As I have a podcast about real talks, being authentic. I do want to talk about, because it is a lot of people, I do want to talk about why emotional availability feels so scary. Because being emotionally available feels like walking into Target without a list. You know it's going to get expensive real quick. If you grew up in a family where nobody talks about their feelings, people hurt each other's feelings and they just act like nothing ever happens, or people are allowed to really express themselves, you may be, emotionally unavailable person. And that can be something, for you to look into or dive deeper into. Or it's you could have the opposite. Like me, I did grow up in an emotionally, I wouldn't say unavailable, but it's we weren't just talking emotions. I feel like my mom is a very emotionally expressive person. But it's the capacity sometimes that she has for taking other people's emotions, that still plays a part in your emotional availability. Not only do you have capacity for your emotions, but others. And that is I feel like that's a skill, and that's something to be worked on as a person. I just feel like it makes you well-rounded, emotionally healthy as well. A lot of people have a fear of if they show that they can be vulnerable, or they show their vulnerability. And I see why, people have this fear, because vulnerability, not everyone deserves your full vulnerability. Some people only deserve levels of vulnerability from you, and that's just tea. That's just the truth. But it's sometimes we're scared of the fear of rejection, feeling like we're too much, or losing control. Um, and a lot of people see just emotions in general as a weakness, but it is such a strength to be able to express your emotions and to communicate, which is um, your communication is improving when you can express your emotions and name them. A lot of times, a lot of us are walking around numb, completely overwhelmed by our emotions, and we are expressing them in ways that is very toxic or bad, or coping with ways to deal with our emotions, because we're not, we can't be emotionally available, or we haven't learned how to express our emotions in a safe way. It's I will share a moment. I don't feel like I have been completely emotionally unavailable. um I think I'm a very emotional person. I like to I have a lot of capacity for other people's emotions. um I think there's been times where I've been emotionally unavailable for myself, just where I haven't really checked in, or I really haven't cared to take the time to know how I feel. I just go along with how others feel. I think that is an example of how I've been emotionally unavailable to myself, but I've always lent myself out to others to be emotionally available. So it's I feel so free, being able to extend that to myself. So I feel like my capacity has more range, even more range now, for emotions. I will share times where I've had partners who were emotionally unavailable, or when you're in the dating stage and you meet somebody, once I really sat down and was done with the bullshit that comes with dating and stuff, I was asking that was one of my first questions: do you think you're emotionally available for a relationship? Because you have to be emotionally available for a relationship. You have to be able to um have the capacity for someone else's emotions as well as yours, and to have you know a a good healthy balance of conflict resolution in a relationship. Or a relationship is as good as dead if you don't. And it's um a lot of emotionally like unavailable people, like in relationships, they just want to have fun. They don't want to do all of the like, oh, I care about you, I love you, like I want to build with you type of vibe. Like they want to like, let's have sex, let's like they, a lot of them probably do like dates, but they're like, a lot of them don't want to do any heavy lifting, they want you to do it. Like, or like they can't handle if you do to them what they do to you. Like, or they're just using you in a way of your presence, and it's not on a deeper level. And sometimes there's two people who want that, and there's one person who doesn't. And like I've been in the I've never been on the side where it's like I never wanted anything like serious with someone, but like I've been like, I've pursued people who literally I didn't know it was, they didn't have the emotional capacity, or that they weren't emotionally available, but it was to the point where like, they didn't want to talk about anything deep. Like they didn't want to get to know each other. Like you have to recognize when people aren't really trying to get to know you. And a lot of people who do not have the emotional capacity aren't looking to like get to know you on a deeper level. And for me, that's a big red flag. um, so I've had people who, weren't looking to get to know me on a deeper level. Like I knew so much about them. I was there for them. I was taking in stuff for them. And then it was like, when it comes to me, they don't have the capacity to listen to me, or they don't even care to ask me back. Like, what about me? Cause they're not there for that, you know? A lot of people, they like to just keep you around until they feel better about themselves, or like until sometimes they will literally use you and be emotionally unavailable with you, but ready to jump into a relationship with the next bitch. But it just shows like, you weren't the one for them, like, so that what can you do? You can't do anything. Focus on what you can do. And it's like, now I want to get into like what the cost of staying closed off, emotionally unavailable is. Like, you ever try dating while being emotionally unavailable? It's like giving someone a gift card that's already expired, baby. It's like you have nothing left. Like it's nothing, you have nothing to give that person. And like staying closed off creates distance between like friendships, even just like at work, or even just in relationships. Like it just depends on the type of person you are. But like a person who's emotionally unavailable, like you can go for so long until it's like you don't care to know about a person, or you don't care to like get that onto that deep of a level with them, until it's like that person realizes like, oh, you don't care to know me, you don't care to know anything about me, you don't care how my day is going, you're not asking me, like you don't know nothing about my family, like, but I know everything about you. Or I'm asking you the questions, you're not asking me. Or you're short, you're giving me, I don't even know anything about you. And it's like 5 months go by, and it's like you just wasting your time. We need to normalize that. Protecting yourself, it does feel safe, but it does limit connection. So it's like I said, people, only should get a certain level of vulnerability out of you, especially depends on, how safe or comfortable you are with that person. I totally agree with that. I don't think everybody deserves to know you. And I think I learned that lesson by, I used to always lead with who I am. I used to be always very expressive. I always used to tell people who I, felt like I could trust everything about me. Um, and a lot of times I think like in my earlier days, I feel like that was like, I used to like just basically kind of dump on people like my baggage, or I just wanted people to know like the basis of who I am and where I come from and why I am the way I am. That was my intention behind it. But I realized like, some people, sometimes you can lead with who you are to people, and they'll take advantage of that. So you have to, like, some things you have to keep for yourself until you can trust someone. That part, like that, I feel like that's protection. But where it's like, you just, you randomly just don't, like, it's not that you feel like you can't trust this person or you're getting a bad vibe. You just don't tell anyone anything about yourself. You don't open up about anything because, a lot of it stemmed from, having emotionally unavailable parents. But So that's just kind of how things that we develop, or that's just how we are now. But it limits your connection. It limits the connections you're able to have. And honestly, like, this life is about connection, experiencing people, good or bad. Because even the worst people teach us a lesson, or teach us things we never want to experience again, or teach us, about ourselves. And sometimes the best people teach us unconditional love. They teach us, how to be kind to ourselves. They teach us, they inspire us on how we should live our own lives. So it's like, experiencing connection, it's worth it. It's worth putting yourself out there, even if it's just a little bit, to like, you probably, who knows if you like have met the best people of the world yet. Like, if you don't even like, if you won't be vulnerable, or you're just closed off and completely emotionally unavailable to people. Like, just another example is like being physically present but emotionally closed off, or emotionally not there. A lot of times it's like, it's not fair to the energy around you of people who are, maybe putting themselves out there, or are like feeling safe enough to like express themselves or to show you themselves. It's just like, underneath that, like, closed off, it's like a whole um person. Like, it's a whole, like, deeper version of yourself, like a higher version of yourself that, like, you're not getting to know, a part of you you're not, you know exploring. So I want to do a new segment called Emotional Gym. So opening up emotionally is like leg day at the gym. You know that is good for you, but you rather clean the whole house instead, or do something else instead. So a quick exercise that you can do is rep one. Say how you actually feel when someone asks you how you are. And I would say, like, know the space, know the area. Like if my mom asks me how I am, I'm going to tell her. If my friends ask me how I am, I'm going to tell them how I am, actually. There's certain people I'm not going to tell how I'm actually doing. Like a corporate space, specifically my boss, I'm never going to tell her how I'm actually doing, because she doesn't really care. Don't really care. And that's just stuff for them to use against you later, or something like that. So no, that probably not there. But just know the room, know the people who you can trust, and you can tell. And it's like, just, even if you don't, and it's just like, but rep one. You can start by just, you don't have to say everything that you feel, but just, how are you feeling overall, actually, and not just the, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, but like, oh, I've been, going through this, or I've been feeling like this. Rep two, share a fear with a friend that you trust. And rep three, accept comfort instead of saying I'm fine. So when you tell someone how you are, and they like, try to like, either they try to comfort you, accept that. Like, sit in that moment, and don't just be like, oh, I'm fine, I'll get over it, or anything like that. Just be like, you know what? Like, I have had it hard, and it's been hard, and but I'm trying, like, don't just like kind of cut it off short. That just opens up more room for connection. And it's like, emotional muscles grow stronger as you practice them. So just, try that. So now I want to get into some steps on how you can become more emotionally available. Being emotionally available doesn't mean trauma dumping on the first date. Not a TED talk, it's baby steps. So here are some tips. So have safe talks with safe people. And that's another thing. Determine what people are safe, what people are green. You can be honest about your limits. So you can say, I'm learning to open up. Like, you can even, like, to someone who is a safe person, who you're, having a small talk with, or trying to trust with something, you can let them know, like, I have a hard time opening up. It's hard for me to talk about how I feel. I didn't really, grow up where it was safe to really express how you actually feel. And, I'm trying. So this is me trying, something like that. This is one thing that I do. Sometimes it's hard for, like, it used to be hard for me to openly at first express my feelings. And so I am better sometimes at writing them down before I say them. And that's a good thing. That's a good start too. It's like write down your feelings, and it's good to take a pause to see how you actually feel before like going head on and expressing how you feel, and it could come out like, wrong, um in the wrong way. But writing it down, that helps. And just remember that availability equals openness, not perfection. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be messy. A lot of times it is messy. So, all right, guys, here is your challenge for this week. The next time you go to say I'm fine, challenge yourself to actually be honest and tell the truth of how you're feeling. Even if it's just like I've had a rough day and I'm managing, you know, that's that's a start, maybe. So, if this episode gave you a push to start working on your emotional gym routine, baby, share this video, comment, leave a comment, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, follow us on IG. And as always, I am so grateful. I love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to us this week. I can't wait to be here with you guys next week. So bye. Have a good day. I love you guys. And if you guys have any questions, or if you guys like today's episode, please make sure you subscribe to Pretty Real Persona. We're on YouTube. Like us, follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We're on that. We're on those social media platforms too. And leave a comment in the comments about, what you liked about today's episode, what topics you guys want me to speak on, if you want to see me add a guest, have some guests on, let me know.